got a new delivery, which is always lovely. So this should be a couple bits of clothing and then some nice like treats and supplements, etc. So let's have a little look and see what we got. Okay, so this is from PROZIS, and I am sponsored by these guys. So obviously the stuff that I'm going to recommend is stuff that I've tried before and I really enjoy. And to be honest, a lot of the stuff that I am ordering at the moment is kind of repeat orders because it is so nice. So I won't obviously ever recommend anything that I don't think is great product, and I'll try it first, of course. So first up, we have got this lovely granola. So they do some really nice protein granola, but I'd say this is definitely my favourite one. So it's forest fruits, really, really good. So like it's basically got dried sort of fruits and berries in it, and it's just really, really nice. I love it, to be honest. So that is a nice treat for me. And obviously, you know, you could smash loads, but I just like to have it after a meal, kind of like a little dessert, I guess. Chuck some berries on there, maybe chuck some Greek yogurt, chia seeds, bit of honey, etc. Really, really nice. So I've got these pop-ups, basically popcorn, and I haven't actually tried this flavour. So this is salted caramel cinnamon. So this is going to be probably amazing because I absolutely love cinnamon. But I've had I think I've just had the standard caramel one. That's lovely. And then sweet and salted, I'm pretty sure. Both of them are really nice. So I've got 2 packs of them. They're good. So with those, I'd say basically you could just have these as a cut-in snack because they're only 100 calories per serving. But at the same time, they're so nice that you kind of have to be careful. So they're easy just to smash as like a bulking treat pretty much. So at the moment as well, I am bulking. So I'm on now 5,100 calories. And it's getting pretty tough to put the food in every single day. But I've been bang on. So it's going really, really well. And weight is starting to creep up really, really slowly. So, next up, this peanut butter is absolutely amazing. So, I've just been smashing PB&Js recently. I had one the other day, like 4 PB&Js. It was like over 2,500 calories, which is just insane. And digestion perfect. So, that's like my main source of calories, I'd say, this bulk really, or like my new sort of bulking hack that I'm using. We've also got some protein bars. Looks like it comes in a sunglass case, but unfortunately not. Yeah, protein bars, these are lovely. Again, I've had these ones, I've had the white chocolate. They're lovely as well. So yeah, nice couple treats. And then, so these I want to try basically because I'm going through rehab for my wrist. Multiple surgeries, just meaning that I can't lift the same at the moment and I'm still trying to rehab it. So basically, I'm going to try and build up the strength in my forearms and my sort of stabilizer muscles and the muscles that go across my hand and wrist there, which my physio has told me to do. So I've never actually tried these before. So they're these fat grips. So you basically put them around the bar. But yeah, they're nice, good quality, and excited to give them out a try. So next day that I'll be able to try them will be a pull day. So give them a go then, that should be really, really good. And again, just a bit more focus on the forearm and trying to build up that grip strength. And to be honest, having a fatter grip actually feels better in my left hand because I'm not able to actually grip it as tight. So yeah, really excited to give those a go. So nice selection here, some food, some accessories, and then we've got a t-shirt. So I do have some oversized t-shirts which fit me perfectly. Like they're oversized t-shirts for me anyway, are like absolutely mint and on point. Whereas I do want a few more sort of slightly tighter fitted ones. So let's see how this fits. Bearing in mind, I have been going up in weight quite a lot recently, but I'm hoping that this fits quite snug. Yeah, nice, perfect. So yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for, like tighter on the arms and obviously like tighter on the shoulders, but still nice and roomy. So yeah, really, really nice. Good stuff, not too heavy, and I don't like super heavyweight tops anyway because I just get really hot and sweaty. So yeah, nice little clothing haul. Like I said, I just thought I'd show you what we've got and some good bits and pieces. So plan now is I'm gonna go to the gym and just hit a real quick shoulder session. So it will be today, lateral raise machine for 5 sets, and then I'm gonna move on to the cable raises for another 4 sets, and then I'm gonna do 3 sets of chest flies, just really lightweight basically, to basically work my front delts. And that's the only thing I can really do at the moment, because I still can't lift anything like for front delts with a bar or with cables really. I could do like cuffed front raises, but it's still just a lot of pressure on my wrist. So I found that by doing that, it's just absolutely fine, and I almost try and over-engage my front delts on that one. So, you having fun, mate? You having fun? What's this? So yeah, let's get to the gym and we'll have a bit more of a chat about the plans, because I'm gonna finish up sanding down that room tonight, and I've got to fill a few more holes in, and then I'm gonna paint it tomorrow. So that should be good, really exciting. And I'm just gonna keep you guys updated with the whole process of that. So I'll probably just vlog it as normal, and then I might do like a whole video at the end, just start to finish. But yeah, for now, let's get some pre-workout, get in the car, get some tunes pumping, and yeah, go lift some heavy ass weight, or as heavy as we can do. Right, see you guys in a bit. So there's so much traffic today, I don't know what's going on, but just thought we'd do a bit of car talk while we're waiting, because I've literally been sitting in the car now for about 10-15 minutes. The gym's only like 5 minutes away, so now we're moving, which is good. But anyway, one thing I want to talk about on here, which I don't know if I've talked too much about before, but could help a few people, certainly would have helped me if I'd have heard it earlier, is you don't have to be doing so much pressing to grow your shoulders, is my kind of point I'm trying to make here. So I don't know if this just applies to me, and I'm kind of like putting this into practice now with clients that I believe would benefit from it. What I'm trying to do is basically draw away a few of the pressing movements from the week's volume and just replace that with more raises, accessories, volume, things that just don't put as much stress on your system. Not for the sole purpose of lifting light, obviously, but to allow you to devote that energy elsewhere where I think it is more beneficial. So for me personally, I find that chest press, for example, bench press, incline press, all that sort of stuff is really beneficial to do under heavy load. So I think that, you know, that has a lot of merit, and if you can use your strength and your energy in that pressing session for chest, for example, I personally think you get a lot more benefit out of that than you would do on a heavy shoulder press. That's not to say that there's not benefit in doing shoulder press, and I definitely still think that from time to time you should program in heavy pressing. I'm just saying that there's times when I look at someone's program and they're doing a lot of heavy pressing movements throughout the week, and obviously, you know, you don't want to put unnecessary strain on your rotator cuffs, because that is just the common thing which everyone gets injured, but it is because of how risky it is, really. So I think that when we're trying to look at, you know, changing programs around and coming up with the most efficient program, it is useful to go through kind of some serious changes and actually, you know, do some things which perhaps are a little bit unorthodox. So, you know, for example, what I've been doing recently is I've removed shoulder press, and to be honest, I was doing this before my wrist was actually limiting me to the point where I couldn't do it. So I basically would take out the shoulder press and replace it with like loads more volume. So if I'd usually do like 3 sets of shoulder press on a Smith machine, for example, I'd maybe do a top set of like 8 reps, and then I'd maybe do 2 sets at like try and get 12 reps. So the first one is obviously like crazy heavy. Second one and third, I'm still going to absolute failure to where the bar's like coming down and I'm having to rack it, but I'm intentionally lowering the weight so it does put slightly less pressure on my joints and my tendons. So by doing that, it's good, but it absolutely wipes me out. And if I do it then later in the session, I'm just super weak and I don't really enjoy it as much. So in that aspect of trying to balance enjoyment with kind of, you know, everything else, joint pain and just overall fatigue throughout the session, I've found it quite beneficial to instead do, for example, 2 lateral raise exercises. One of them might be like 3 sets, the other one might be even 4 or 5, and it usually seems to take about the same amount of time because the warm-up's way less, and you know, the warm-up in terms of actually warming up your shoulders is roughly the same, because obviously you should be doing that anyway, but the warm-up to get to that first working set, obviously if I'm doing lateral raises, I'm probably just going to do like 1 warm-up set, if that. Whereas with a heavy shoulder press, I might do just the bar, I might then go and do the bar with a 20 on either side, then 2 20s, then 2 20s and a 10, then 3 20s, etc. So it just gets quite a lot, and I think if you are someone that's struggling with balancing sort of fatigue and that sort of stuff, just give it a go for a couple of weeks. I'd say personally keep your heavy chest press in, because that I think is really useful. And obviously if you look at your chest as a muscle, it's very big, so it needs a lot of, I think it does deserve, and it can handle a lot more sort of tension there. Obviously still need to be super careful, you do see pec tears a lot, but I just feel shoulder press, when you're only really kind of working the front and the side, and obviously the side realistically isn't getting worked as much as the front. Usually if you're doing a shoulder press, it's mainly the front, which again you get a lot from chest press anyway, so I just find that you can get that same stimulus from doing other things, whereas with bench press, obviously you can do flies, that's great, but I feel like you do need that heavy pressing. So that'd be my opinion. Obviously if you're super shoulder dominant, perhaps reverse that, but for most people they do really benefit from a heavy chest press, and I think that flies are great as well. Whereas for shoulders, maybe just take a week where you do lots of volume on lateral raises, cables, machines, dumbbells, single arm, double arm, standing, seated, you know, behind the back, all that sort of stuff, and just see how you respond. And you might then find that when you go back to the shoulder press, you got way more like motivation for it, and you're actually ready to push heavier. And if you love it, obviously just go for it, but I think it's something to think about, maybe just using that energy on your bench press sessions rather than trying to balance like 2 really heavy pressing sessions a week. It can just be quite difficult. So yeah, let's go smash this shoulder session and get a good pump in. Straight into the session then with a seated lateral raise. So working the side of the shoulders here, which is a priority for me, and I would imagine for most people as well, but my training has changed a little bit recently to where I am focusing more on the front delt. However, this was quite a while ago where I was pretty much strictly doing only side delts. So yeah, this machine I've managed to get up pretty heavy. I think I'm up to 25 kilos. I'm not sure if that is what exactly I was doing here, but I'm pretty sure it is. So yeah, I can see that obviously, you know, from my perspective when I'm doing the reps, but also now looking at it through the camera, I'm not going much above halfway for pretty much, you know, the majority of the set. However, it's still placing so much tension on my side delts that it's still a great exercise, and it really works for me. So I would say it's important to vary this with an exercise such as a dumbbell lateral raise or a cable lateral raise, where you can really extend your arm up to kind of near 90 degrees, because that is more of a range of motion, and also the shoulder at that point at the top is getting more shortened, whereas in that position there it was a bit more lengthened. Now, just to be honest, I am doing these very heavy, so again here I'm still not going crazy high, but you can see I am making an effort to get it up as high as I can. Little bit of trap engagement, which is going to be kind of, well, very hard to completely get rid of, but again, personally, when I'm actually doing the exercise, I do feel very good mind muscle connection, and I don't find that my traps are engaging. That being said, you know, perhaps I am doing that without thinking, because I do find that my traps are, you know, not, I would say, a strong point, but they definitely aren't lacking, and I don't do any direct trap work. But I was talking to someone the other day, and I think that just comes from when I used to do deadlifts and barbell rows literally all the time, because those were my staples, that and bench press. So, you know, having a strong scapula, rhomboids, just doing loads of rows and stuff like that, I think that really just kind of held my traps there. And obviously doing compounds still, and obviously even heavy lifts on the shoulders, even if I'm not directly engaging them and they're not getting fatigued, they are going to be worked a little bit. So yeah, anyway, here I'm doing cable lateral raises, and as you can see, again, just going crazy on the partials, which just fine for me, works very well. Choosing a cuff at this point, I do change and go from cuff to handle to D-handle to kind of, you know, various attachments, but it all depends what I'm feeling. I think whenever you try something new, if you're open-minded and actually do it right, you often get a crazy burn. But you can see here I'm just going a bit intense on that. Probably wouldn't recommend that realistically, but you know, sometimes just trying to get as much pain and soreness in that muscle to really try and, you know, fatigue it is what I'm doing. But you know, I wouldn't be doing that on a bench press or on a squat. It's just not really possible or going to be effective in my opinion. So yeah, anyway, at this point in time that I'm doing this voiceover, a lot of time has passed, so the videos that I'm now posting are going to be, as you've seen, or as you will see, are going to be filmed on a Sony camera. So that'll be really nice, and I'm excited for you guys to actually see a bit better quality there. So I'll have a microphone, which is the one that I'm using now, but obviously I'm wearing it during the session. Some of the sessions didn't figure out how to use the microphone, or the audio's gone off, etc. So still kind of getting the grips to things, but I've got a lot of stuff backlogged, and whichever stuff isn't narrated, I'll just do a voiceover like I'm doing now. So yeah, at this point in time, I'm really just excited on trying to push my training for the last kind of portion of the year. As I said, we're a little bit now in the future, although I'm going to try and get these videos out one after the other. A lot of time's passed, so yeah, looking forward to now the winter bulk, which is going to be really important, but I'm trying not to do this with too much aggression and just go up in body fat. In the past, I haven't really cared about that, but I think the more I've actually cut down over time, I've realised that I haven't put on perhaps as much muscle tissue as I maybe thought I would have done in that period. So it's not really an issue because I really enjoy myself, but the amount of stress that I was putting through my digestive system and just, you know, how much I'm spending on food at some points just doesn't seem to be effective. So just taking it a little bit slower, becoming a little bit more sensitive to actually the food, which means that I'll respond quicker and therefore it will just be more efficient basically. So just trying to be more effective with my training and basically gain muscle in a better, more sustainable way. So yeah, trying different things. Obviously I'll let you guys know how that works out. Maybe I just decide to just go back to turbo bulking, who knows. But with Christmas coming up, obviously it does seem to be smart if I'm trying to eat foods which are, you know, conducive of growth and are helping me get towards my goal. That being said, I wouldn't completely bank on the seasons. Obviously if I wanted to really dice down, I'd do so, but at the moment I'm literally pretty much as lean as I want to be. So yeah, in this clip here though, to be fair, looking back, I am still looking nice and full. I don't know the exact weight I was here, but yeah, like full, not too fluffy, but still looking decent. Anyway, I'll let you guys get on with it and enjoy the rest of the video. That was a big boy session, to be fair. Delts got absolutely smashed, and then chest as well was really good. I literally only did 3 sets of chest flies. Sometimes I'll do 4 sets based on like how my shoulders are feeling, but I'm pretty much just doing 3 sets each session, like absolute maximum intensity, like to failure. And then as soon as I'm feeling kind of recovered enough, whichever session it may be, I'll then just do it again. Again, a lot of this stuff I'm saying doesn't apply to everyone, so I'm kind of just waffling at this point, but you never know, it might apply to someone that has a wrist injury or is just trying to come back from even like a torn pec or something like that. So yeah, volume is, I feel like people don't actually utilize volume enough in their training, to be honest. Like most of the people I speak to, they're either just 3 sets of 12, 4 sets of 12, or maybe they'll do just 2 sets of 8 or 2 sets of 7. Don't get me wrong, I think that because it's kind of become a trend these days with the Mike Mensa training and, you know, seeing Sam Sulik, people like that lift crazy heavy. I absolutely love that style of lifting. I think that's the best you can really get in terms of fun and just all round, I guess, progression within the session, because it's kind of near impossible not to progress when you're pushing yourself that hard. However, I do think that you can get a bit lost in just chasing numbers rather than, you know, keeping a balanced physique and other stuff like that, you know, maintaining balance within your strength as well, so not getting too chest dominant and therefore getting like a tight rounded chest and basically ruining your posture. So yeah, I would say specifically, actually it kind of ties into what I was saying earlier about the side delts. Like that's a perfect example of